Hey, my name's Mike Furchess with the Movie Guys. I kind of started the Movie Guys a long time ago. Been doing movie reviews since about 1996, 1997. Was one of the first people, along with a webmaster named David Bruce, that actually started doing spiritual reviews related to movies. It's kind of cool because I see all kinds of people doing that, but I'm a little bit different. I'm a redneck from the South who just happens to love movies. Have not been trained in how to do movie reviews or anything other than that, other than my own experiences, which I've been doing again since 1997. So, love movies. I usually try to find something with a touch of morality or a sense of spirituality in a movie, but not overboard. I know how religion is. I was interviewing Rob Zombie one time, and he told me when you talk about religion or politics, someone ends up with a broken nose, and I think he's pretty much right on that. So, Movie Guys, something I started a while back with buddy Joy Stone. And it simply is just a simple televised version of the reviews I've been writing about, but in a lot more fun and a relaxed way. So my wife has joined me quite a bit. I've had my granddaughter join me on occasion when we see children's movies. And I'm super excited about getting to do this with Shocker Studios and the group here and bringing in some younger voices, some younger viewpoints, and giving reviews that folks can appreciate and hopefully takes you to the movies, gives you a little bit of a insight on how to see movies, what to think about. We'll do our best not to give spoilers, and I'll talk about that a little bit more as we do a review here a little bit later on the Avengers. But today we're going to be looking at the Isle of Dogs and the Avengers. Again, my name is Mike Furchess. Glad you tuned in. You can find out more about the Movie Guys by checking us out at Facebook, www.facebook.com/Wichita Movie Guys, or you can also check us out at YouTube and our channel there, and you can be finding our stuff here as well. And again, enjoy getting to do it for you. Hope you enjoy it as well. We look forward to hearing your comments and viewpoints in the future. Again, Mike Furchess with the Movie Guys. Hi, this is Mike Furchess back in with you here with the Movie Guys. Glad to be back. Hope you're enjoying the program. We've got a couple of reviews. One of them will be kind of short. We're going to do the Isle of Dogs. I brought my wife back in with me, Mary Jane. Mary Jane. We can look at each other. It's been great because we're getting to use Shocker Studios to do our program, and I'm so grateful for that. We saw Isle of Dogs. Mary Jane's been doing reviews with me for some time. We're married. Been married for going on 40 years. And we love movies, don't we?
Sure.
It's a weekly date night or more.
More, if we can.
Yeah. We like to see all kinds of movies. We go all the time. We recently saw one. It's been out for a while, but I wanted to do a review on it called Isle of Dogs, directed and written by Wes Anderson. Some of you may know him from his work. He does a lot of stop action. It's not necessarily animation or anything of that nature, but it's more along the lines of stop action and computer animation. And from that perspective, it's phenomenal. He did fantastic, Mr. Fox, but from that perspective, it's really phenomenal what he does. Your thoughts on the movie, though?
Well, I was sort of looking forward to it, but after we got there and started watching it, I realized that it is not a children's movie. It was okay. I wasn't overwhelmed with it. I didn't hate it. So it's sort of like a lukewarm movie for me. You know, I can take it or leave it. The characters were realistic. I mean, it was just the way he did the animation in it. And there were so many people in it that just, famous people that made it interesting. To me, overall, it was sad the way they treated the dogs. And so they were unfairly accused of things.
Well, that's part of it. This is again, almost 40 years, and the reason I made mention of that is I love you, honey, but you're a nut. On this one, I totally disagree on this one. I thought this was a great movie. The cast is phenomenal. Bryan Cranston, I'm just reading off a few names. Bryan Cranston, Edward Norton, Robert Balbino, Bill Murray, Jeff Goldblum. And I could keep Frances McDermott, who just won the Academy Award for Best Actress of the Year, Scarlett Johansson, and I could go on and on with the cast in this. It is a depressing movie. It's not again, I would totally agree, it's not a movie for children in any way. A lot of people say, there's this computer stop animation. It looks so cute, and let's take our kids to see it. Huge mistake. There were people with kids in the audience when we saw it, and if I'm not mistaken, some of them left before the movie was even over. And but the storyline is essentially the prejudices that we have in society. It's kind of ironic. It's an American-style imitation of Japanese animation. And it even takes place in Japan. There's a lot of Japanese actors in it. There's a lot of subtitles and that type of thing that takes place to where they show Japanese subtitles, where they speak in Japanese and then show English subtitles. But it's predominantly an American-made movie with a predominant American cast. And I felt one of the amazing things, you talked about the believability. You believe these dogs are real. I mean, they do such a good job. Anderson does such a phenomenal job at making the animals real and as hard as it is to say, someone or something you can relate to. And one of the things I loved about the movie is in society, people are taken advantage of and abused all the time. Watching my language, all the time. It could be someone because they're female, and it could be someone because of the color of their skin. It could be someone because of their political belief system.
Or because of their disability.
Or, their physical disability or their mental disability. And we make these categories, and that's what happens in the movie, is that a whole class of dogs, which are kind of an allegory for people, are discriminated against and put on this island. Most all of them unjustly. And so I thought that from that perspective, yes, it is depressing, but I loved it. So I love you, honey, but I think you're wrong.
Well, I go to the movies to get entertained and to feel good. I don't go to come out thinking, oh my gosh, how depressing was that,
But sometimes we learn. Sometimes we as individuals.
We can learn from it, but it's not my motive for going to movies.
On this one, we're going to disagree. On a score of 1 to 10, what would you give it?
Maybe a 6.
See there, I give it a 9 flat out. And for her, a 6 is better than I thought. Sounds better. I loved it. It's not a perfect movie, but if you're into film and if you're into social messages and concepts, it's definitely worth seeing. So that's all the dogs. We're going to take a break. Be back with you in a moment. We're going to be having a discussion on the new movie, The Avengers, Infinity Wars. A lot to say there. Going to do our best not to give any spoilers, but it's going to be hard. So we'll be back with you shortly. Again, Mike Furchess, my wife Mary Jane, with the Movie Guys. Hey, Mike Furchess back with you with the Movie Guys. We've got a couple of guests coming in from Team View Magazine and others. Again, it's a huge thanks to Shocker Studios, but Team View Magazine, man, the cooperation and collaboration that we got going happening here, I'm really excited about it. And one of the things I'm really excited about is having you guys jumping in here and being a part of the review process. We've got somebody back there doing some production and camera work that we gave a spoiler for this next movie. Probably shouldn't have done it, but you can't help it. We're going to be talking about the Avengers, Infinity Wars. But before we go there, if you guys would tell me something about yourself and just give a brief introduction, would be great.
Oh, my name is Malcolm Eugene. I do photography and video almost full time. So I've been working with Team View for about 5-6 years it feels like. So we're doing big things.
Okay.
And then I'm Kyle Hawley. I've been with Team View for 5 years. I pretty much direct and do video and produce a lot of the video content for Team View. So yeah.
One of the things again is having you guys in and participating in the future gals. Right now it's predominantly movie guys, but that's a generic term. Okay, it's not meant to be sexist or nothing like that. But we've all seen the Avengers. It is the thing out right now. I expect it to break tons of box office records.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to tell you from the outset, it's a Marvel story. Extremely difficult to review this film without giving spoilers. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
We've all seen it. So just start off with give us some brief thoughts about the movie, what you were maybe expecting and what you got out of it.
Well, with how Marvel's movies usually are portrayed, they're not as comic book accurate. So when you're looking at Thanos, the main villain of the movie, I enjoy the take they took with him. They made him more of I want to say sympathetic, but more of a relatable villain in a sense, versus what his character was in the comic books in this particular story arc.
Yeah, it's one of the things about Screen that I especially like is with Thanos played by Josh Brolin in the film. He brings a human element to it, and there's one scene that I really kind of feel. I'm a comic book fan. I've collected comics for years, so I followed the series. I actually felt kind of sorry for him in one of the scenes in the movie. So that humanity sense, I totally agree.
I agree. I think Thanos is probably one of the best Marvel villains in the MCU so far. I think he did bring that human element to it. You did kind of feel sorry for him. I think what Marvel does really good about their villains is you make them kind of root for the bad guy. Yeah. They've done it in countless Netflix series like Kingpin. You kind of root for the bad guy. What's another one? Killmonger in Black Panther. You kind of root for the bad guy.
Vulture and Spider-Man.
Yeah, Vulture.
So we're sitting with some comic book aficionados. Mary Jane's probably. We can
I'm
dig
not.
it. Mary Jane's.
I'm not. I didn't read comics.
No, I understand. But I like it. I like it in that sense that you kind of feel sorry for the villain in the movie, but you kind of you can't. They force you not to because what he's doing is wrong. So
yeah.
Yeah, but is it though?
That's a
in
good
his
question.
mind,
That's a
yeah.
really good question.
Yeah.
Is it? In his mind, it's not wrong. It's kind of like if you watch The Walking Dead, it's kind of like Negan. Is Negan really a bad guy, or is he just what Rick would have become? The same thing here with Thanos. Is he really a bad guy? In his mind, he's saving half the world, as opposed to whatever it is he's doing. So,
Yeah.
Mary Jane, your thoughts? I mean, just what you're
Well,
expecting,
since I'm the one here that doesn't read comics.
which is important because there's probably people that are seeing the movies that
You
don't.
know.
I know that to be fact because there's people leaving the theater just
But-
crying. It's like, dude, it ain't over. This is just part one.
Yeah. I love all the Marvel movies and the Superman. Of course, I grew up, Superman was my hero. I always
DC.
DC Comics, Superman. But I've grown to really love the characters in this series, and Mike had to fill me in on some of them because I think, okay, now who is he? What kind of hero is he? And so
I've seen Bucky before, but I
I'm
don't
lucky
remember
that
what
I have somebody that can fill me in on all this stuff, because otherwise I'd be lost sometimes. I really enjoyed the movie. There was a lot going on all the time, and so sometimes I sort of got lost a little because of the fact that I really didn't know the background of this hero and what they did and how they were going to, accomplish the task before them. And it's loud, it's fast, the action is going all the time. There's never really a long break in the action, because you don't have time to catch your breath because something else is going to be happening, and
This is really
which
kind
is
of
good.
Yeah,
I mean, I like that.
We saw it in the digital theater at the new AMC, not the big super where the seats do stuff, but the seats still vibrate.
They still
Yeah,
vibrated
yeah.
sometimes.
I mean, just the people say stuff about like music, well, turn it down, or the movie's too loud. There's times it should be loud, and again, we were not in the theater that had the special chairs, but the seats are still vibrating.
Yeah,
and some things that you maybe were not expecting, or some nice little tidbits that maybe people would look forward to. There's one in particular that I loved, and I just burst out loud, just laughing out loud when I saw it happen. Anything like that in the movie for you?
I think I will start off with saying that Infinity War is one of those movies that if you didn't see the 10-year span of movies that they put out, there will be moments you're just like, who was that? What did they do? So I understand your point, but I think what Marvel did so well is that everyone had their moment. Everyone had their screen time. Even people like War Machine, he had his moment where you're just like, that's cool. Falcon had his moment. Everyone in the movie, I think Marvel did a really good job of giving everyone equal amount of screen time. It's not his story, it's not their story, it's the Avengers story.
Yeah, I agree. It's a very balanced movie. The Russo brothers did a phenomenal job, because you have how many characters that are not like, B-list characters. These are all main characters in their own stories, in their own story arcs, and they all had, comedic moments, action moments.
And it was not like Thor. I thought Ragnarok.
Ragnarok,
I
yeah.
thought Ragnarok overdid the comedy. That's my opinion. I feel that in this one, the comedy's there, but it's not overdone. It's the comedies. There's definitely some comedic moments that you're like, I needed that,
Yeah.
and you're laughing. Yeah,
definitely,
they did a really good job with this
Yeah.
one. I'm sorry to jump in on you there.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Mary Jane, because I'm gonna be the dissent here a little bit, maybe.
Okay. I like Rocket Raccoon. I think he's just,
I love
I think he's just a cool little dude. I like him and Groot.
Yeah. Vin Diesel, for someone
Yeah.
that just says I'm Groot, Vin Diesel does such a good job.
He does
with
so
that.
much more, yeah.
It's so much it's more, and to have someone that understood Groot, this time besides Rocket was kind of nice too.
Yeah.
So.
I enjoyed the comic relief, like you said. It came at a moment when you sort of needed a break, a breath, and it was just it just flowed so natural the way they had it written in. It wasn't like they were trying to be funny or trying to say funny things. It was just a natural
It was a
flow
natural-
of
It fit with
comedic
the,
relief.
Yeah, and it fit with the character as well.
Yeah.
There was one moment. There's all the things that you guys have said. I agree with most of it. And we'll come back here in a moment with when we talk about some things that we didn't like. Unless there's things you didn't like, you don't want to say anything. But there are some concepts that I didn't like. The thing about this movie, though, that I liked, Marvel tends to be at times, to me, it tends to be, oh, fun, let's all have a great time, comic book story. And this one was dark. There's definitely some, it's really hard to not give spoilers to this movie.
Yeah.
But the way this movie ends, it's dark. And there's people that's leaving the theater crying. And I liked that Marvel got to that place to where it's not just, oh, let's beat the bad guy from outer space, but there is some sacrifice that is required to defeat evil. And to draw into the spiritual points that I like to pull into with you guys, they're not that's cool if you do, if you're cool if you don't. But I like the concept. It's an old concept that has been around and existed for thousands upon thousands of years, and that is the golden rule concept: doing to others as you'd have others do unto you. And the concept is that if you truly care for someone, you're willing to lay down your life for them. And we see that in this movie in a very moving and, I think, emotional way, because how long is the series, how long has Marvel been doing these now?
10 years.
So you've got characters over the 10 years that you've learned to love and really care for. And for some of us, like myself, man, I've been a fan of some of these guys for years because I've read the comics. And of course, I remember when Infinity Wars, you all won't remember this because Infinity Wars came out long before you guys was probably born.
Yeah, the comics.
But when the comic series came out, it follows fairly closely to the series. And when the comic series came out, there were people that were upset. And Marvel took a pretty serious hit because of it. But, I think they do a pretty good job in this one. So, things that maybe you didn't like.
Well, it was 2.5 hours long. The fact that it ended, I was wanting more.
Yeah.
I'm always wanting more.
And we know there's more, but praise and hope God that we're alive when we see the more.
Right.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was really good. The visuals were great, acting on par. It was really, really good. There were a few people who we did not see in the movie that I wanted to see. Well, I don't say wanted to see, that we were expecting to see. Did not see them in the movie.
Yeah. There's reference to one of the characters that I love. There's reference to him, but he's never in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little guy.
Yeah.
It's hard to say what I didn't like without spoiling the movie. So I would just say, without spoiling nothing, it's the fact we got to wait another year to figure out what. Well, hopefully, Ant-Man answers some of the questions, but we got to wait a whole nother year to figure out what's going to happen.
Will you really wait the whole year?
Yeah, I have to.
You're not go online and look up the storylines or anything?
Well, like I'm a comic guy, so I kind of know how it's going to pan out. And if you do the math and if you look at the contracts, you know what's going to happen in the next movie. But
and the hints are in this movie.
Yeah,
there are the hints in this movie as what's to come.
So that's my only negative thing, is we just got to wait, because it was such a great movie, and just. I don't want to say it because my negative is a spoiler, so I'm not going to say it. So.
All is not as it appeared to be.
Yeah.
Mary Jane?
Well, I agree with what they've said. It's just real hard not to say anything without giving something away. And, it was hard there at the end.
Yeah. We've already spoiled it for production, okay? So we're not going to give anything away to him. He's already heard it. Probably shouldn't have done it. I will tell you some things, though, that I didn't like from a technical perspective. From a technical perspective, I felt, and I've had people say, well, it's based on 2 comic series. And the key on that is 2 comic series. Infinity Wars was not a single comic. It was a series of stories that made up that storyline. And this is my personal belief, is I believe that they crammed too much into a 2.5-hour movie. And what I would rather have then seen them do personally was to build 4 movies, have 4 2-hour movies than 2 2.5-hour movies. That's my major complaint, is I felt that the characters and the storyline, if you've not seen the previous movies, you're going to get lost. And to some extent, that's the fault of the fan going to see the movie, but the hype drives the audience sometimes. We need to remember as well that sometimes there's younger viewers that go in. And I will say on this one as well, because Marvel does make a dark movie here, I don't know if this would be for real small kids or not either. I mean, if you love certain characters in this movie, this is going to break some hearts. And this is what I said about one of the most recent successes with Marvel. Remember, Marvel is, I hate to say this, I believe the writers at Marvel, the writers at DC, and these comic series and these comic book history groups and organizations and franchises, I believe that the writers and creators have a legitimate passion for the characters they've created. However, the movie company making the movies are about making money. We sometimes read the political, and I do that in my reviews. I've done it kind of in this one, and we're talking about the sacrifices and laying down your life for people. but the intent is to make money. And we live in a capitalistic nation. I don't have a problem with that. But I, again, for the sake of the story, would like to have seen 4 2-hour movies as opposed to what we're going to get with 2 2.5-hour movies. There was one other thing I love about this movie, and it is kind of a spoiler, but it's an okay spoiler. Peter Dinklage.
Oh yeah.
Never has such a small man played such a big role.
Yeah.
And those that have seen the movie will understand exactly what I'm talking about. I love him as an actor. I love him on Game of Thrones. He's a terrible villain there. But I leaned over, and I hate talking in the movie, but I leaned over to Mary Jane and I said, never has such a small man played such a big part.
Yeah,
And
they kept his role really close to the chest. They didn't reveal what he was doing, who he was. But yeah,
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, his character was really cool.
Everything, the special effects, everything. The CGI is amazing.
Oh,
And
yeah,
we
yeah.
have been filming in a studio where they've done a lot of CGI and some for theatrical movies. And you look and you think of some of the magic that's taking place in this room, and then you see something like the Avengers. It truly is magical. So I hate to do this, guys. On a scale of 1 to 10, what you going to give it?
Scale of 1 to 10.
Whoever wants to go first, jump in with it.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna give it a 9. I'll flat out say it. It's in my top 5 of Marvel movies,
Okay.
so I'll give it a 9 for sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to give it an 8. I feel like Marvel, they have some better movies. This one's not the best one that they have, but it is a great movie in its own right because it's an amalgamation of pretty much everything. Pretty much. So
Mary Jane?
I would probably give it a 9 because I really liked it. Even though I was lost sometimes with some of the characters, but I grew up watching superheroes on TV, and I always enjoy watching them. I still like them on Netflix. I like some of them. Oh, they got some really good guys on Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix is doing some great stuff. This is a time where the left is right. I'm going with an 8 too. I think there's 9 is pretty close to perfect, and I think it was far
did
from
good.
perfect.
We're fine. Aren't we? We're happy with ours, right?
I think it's got some things that's lacking. I think the jumping around was, man, that brought it down a notch for me. But still, 8's a really good score.
Oh, yeah.
There's not that much difference between the 8 and 9 besides the fact that the 8s are right and the 9s are a little wrong.
Nah.
So I'm just kidding. So hey, it's great to have you guys being a part. We're going to be doing more of this. Hopefully, we talk about some movies and some series that we're going to be working on in the future. And we hope that you've enjoyed watching. There is one thing I like to tag every show out with, okay? And we're going to do it again. You guys, for the future, you'll learn this. When you go to the movies, you're told no less than 4 times to turn your cell phones down. I'm going to tell you, ignore that rule. Don't turn them down.
Turn them off.
Turn it off. If you're expecting an emergency phone call or something of that nature, put the phone on vibrate, put it in your pocket, and if the pocket starts to vibrate or you feel the phone vibrating, go out to the lobby and take the phone call. But man, I can't tell you, your desire to check your text messages and your phone messages,
And your Facebook.
your Facebook does not give you the right to ruin the movie-going experience for other people that are there to enjoy the movie. So I've got a phone, I've got one on well, it's right over here right now, but it's turned off, it's on vibrate, but turn them off, don't turn them down. So I want to thank you for watching the movie, guys. Guys, thanks for participating.
Oh yeah.
It was a lot of
Thank you.
fun.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we'll have you back.
yeah.
We're in this together now, dude.
All right. Yeah.
We're in it together, so great show, enjoyed it. You guys take care, God bless, and of all things that you do, enjoy the movies.